Chaitanya Boli Rakse Amaraman
Anutimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Sri Harinam Chintamani summary discussion which we have been having since the last 2 days. So yesterday evening we began this discussion. And today, this late afternoon, we will conclude this discussion. Of course, this is a brief summary where we are only discussing the verses and few concepts and few exercises. We discussed this quite exhaustively over a period of 3 days, the entire Pramad. So we began yesterday with a discussion on what exactly constitutes Namaprad. What Prabhupada has to say on that, and we did the exercise to really experience it. And then we went into Namaprad Pramad, inattention while chanting. And although one gives up all other offenses, if love of Godhead doesn't manifest, then he should understand it is because of Pramad. It is because of Pramad. And then we did this exercise yesterday, one mantra, one bead. How to chant one attentive mantra. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about the 3 types of Pramad. Audasinya, Jad and Vikshep. So to become free from Audasinya, we spoke about the japa exercises based on posture, pronunciation and prayerful mood. So yesterday we discussed about the posture quite briefly. That was level 1. We did not discuss the level 2, but I made it clear that if you close your eyes, what is going to happen? So I would recommend all the devotees this book, Living Name, because the first chapter, among all the 5 chapters, the first chapter is the most important, which speaks about posture and the breathing exercises, which one should implement over a period of time and really reap the benefits. You can read the entire book, but to come to that fifth level, first you have to start with level one. So the first level where the postures and alignment of the body, mind, and soul is being discussed. There are a lot of exercises there. So if you start implementing these exercises, then slowly, slowly, over a period of time, then you'll be able to uh, get the benefits. So I would very much recommend this book, The Living Name. I think this is the only book where the posture and the sitting proper posture, the breathing exercises are all being mentioned. So we spoke and we did the exercise on the postures. And then, as long as one has not attained anurag, one is not on the stage of asakti, till then one has to be very, very careful and chant attentively the mantra. So we saw Prabhupada's quotations also on that. And the sadhaka who is careless cannot study the mind. Why? Because chit ekadikhe, naam ekadikhe. And even if you chant 64 rounds, you will not be able to taste a drop of the nectar of the holy name. So this is because of the pramad called as avdasinya. And in that context, we introduce the first japa sutra, that is when you chant, chant. And then how do we become free from this avdasinya? By sadhu sang sitting in front of Tulsi, how we discussed from Ashabdha Namabhas, our entry into Krishna consciousness. We'll have to go through Namaparad stage, which is for many, many, many years, and then come to Chaya, Shraddha Namabhas, and then come to Shuddha Nam. Nam is Nam. Nam means Shuddha Nam. But we are not able to take the Shuddha Nam because of the anarthas and the aparads, and because of not able to hear the Nam. Otherwise, one name you take, there is Nam Grahan, Vaikunth Gaman. That's it. Take the name, straight go to Vaikunth. So simple process. Just take the name and go to Vaikunth. You can keep your mobiles in silent or airplane mode. So simple it is, right? During Mahaprabhu's time, it was happening in South India. Anyone who saw Mahaprabhu who took the name went directly to the spiritual world. No sadhana, nothing. Direct prema. Went back to Godhead. But that process now is available for us through sadhana bhakti and attaining sadhu bhakti. We have to go through the process of purification. So we briefly touched upon this concept of namabhas. I mentioned that it is a very elaborate discussion in the Sri Harinam Chintamani. And again, we have to spend 3 days to understand namabhas tattva. But we briefly discussed. And because sannikate, or sitting in a secluded place, we spoke about the concept of sacred space. That was the second Japa Sutra. The third Japa Sutra was chanting in front of Tulsi. And what is that immense spiritual potency? What is that? Can hear the mantra. Can hear the mantra. Then Anna Prakriya, another method, he also speaks. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur goes to the second pramad, which is Jad. And then he gives the uh, solution also for Jad. And then he goes to the third one, which is Vikshep. Vikshepa or Shipta or Vikshipta. Same. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that this you have to endeavor a lot to become free from it. Distractions. You have to endure a lot. And he speaks about how to become free from vikshepa. Sitting in the association of sadhus on the sacred appearance of the Lord, renouncing even the thought of food, chanting in their association. So, like that, you can become free from vikshepa. Now, we will continue our discussion. This is the last part, which is agraha, eagerness. I mentioned that for Jad, Audasinya, the antidote is enthusiasm, utsaha, eagerness. So I mentioned this morning about the utsaha technique, and we introduced that technique since yesterday of how to chant one attentive mantra, one attentive round, and build to 4 attentive round. So this utsaha technique has to be understood. We cannot go elaborately in that, but whatever Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying in the verses, let us see. Sankalpite nama sankhya purna karibare na hoya ayatna name deki bhare bhare. One must enthusiastically complete the chanting of the daily prescribed number of holy names according to one's Sankalpita Nam Sankhya Purna Karibare. Again and again, bare bare, one should fix his gaze on the holy name. Again and again. This is called as retrospection. Retrospection. Back, you should see whether I'm able to focus on the name. Bare bare. A person who is inattentive will want to very quickly finish his prescribed number of holy. One should not be unenthusiastic in this way. Again and again, one must make a great effort to fix one's gaze on the holy name. Now, this I mentioned as a level 2 of the japa exercise, which we have not taken up here because it requires a lot of explanation and some practical demonstration, which is difficult to do here. And it is difficult to implement also. If we can do it, then for that, as I mentioned, one who has mastered the asanas only can do pranayam. And only one who has done pranayam can do pratyahar and then go into dharan, dhyan and samadhi. So similarly, one who is able to sit in a proper posture for long periods and try to attentively hear the holy name, and he has, he's a little detached from the bodily concept. He can go within and fix his gaze on the holy name. It's an art, and there is no need now to introduce that whole science, how to do it. Okay. But it is there and it can be done. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is indicating here, to fix one's gaze on the holy name. Can you tell them just to talk a little softly, and we are in a temple. First we have to become conscious, then Krishna conscious. Satarka haya kari nama sankirtan, pramada chadiya kari namera bhajan. One should very carefully perform one's chanting of the holy name. Satarka hoya kare nama sankirtan, turning away from inattention. One should worship the holy name. Now, I don't do this, but since yesterday I gave the class and today all the devotees were sitting and trying to sit in a proper posture and trying to chant. For some time, I had to open my eyes and I could see all the faults. you know, so I could see one was sitting in a mudra, but I was mentioning yesterday, if you remember, even if the fingers go down, you are in samadhi. you know, so some devotees were trying the best, and trying to, hold the fingers, but the fingers were going down, and I did not look at them, but I could understand they were in samadhi. So it's not so easy. It has to be practiced over a period of time. So that's why satark, puya. And then, you know, I was little hearing some of the devotees chant the Mahamantra, and I could hear, you know, that how they were skipping some of the eating the mantra. Eating the mantra means what? Some of the words they were skipping, you know. So that's why one should, satarka, very carefully perform the chanting of the holy names. Very carefully he has to do it. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells very interesting something. Sankyadik spruha chhadi ekagra manase nirantar kari nama tava kripa bole. Turning away from the desire to artificially increase the number of holy names chanted. With single pointed mind, one should regularly chant your holy names. By your mercy, tava kripa, O Lord. So this point, and there is an elaborate explanation, but I'll summarize that from 16 rounds, you cannot straight jump to 64 rounds. First, you have to come to the point of 16 attentive rounds. And then you have to build what? Blocks of 4 attentive rounds. So 16 to 20, 20 to 24, 24 to 28, 28 to 32. And maybe you have to stay in 32 for many years and see and observe if there is, there is inattention there. If there is inattention, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, work on it. Don't go ahead. Sankhya adik spruha chadi, ekagra manase, with one pointed attention, one pointed mind. So many of the devotees who came for this retreat last year, what we conducted, they were 64 round chanters. And when we had this discussion, there was a heavy revolt. How can you say this, But then after a lot of discussion happened in the class, they admitted that, all the other rounds, only it was numbers. It was not attentive rounds. So the point is that if you keep on doing your extra rounds with aparadh, with inattention, first is that becomes nam aparadh. Secondly, that habit will also come in your regular rounds. So there is no question that I'll chant 64 rounds attentively, 16 rounds attentively, and remaining rounds I'll not pay attention. No, there's nothing like that. So that's why we have to, be very careful here. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I will increase the number of holy names I chant. First, I should strive to chant the syllables of the holy name clearly, and one should strive to chant the holy name with love. Priti Purvakam. Now, this exercise we have not done here, but Prabhupada speaks about chanting Priti Purvakam. Effort in that direction is appropriate. So one should try to chant the syllables of the holy name. So this exercise we are going to do now very soon. Okay. हे कृपा कर प्रभु नामे ते प्रमाद ना भाद्य आमार चित्ते नाम रासास्वाद. O Lord, Prabhu, please give me your mercy, kripa karo, so that inattention would not be an obstacle for me and my heart always tastes the nectar of your holy name. So ultimately, we have to beg for the mercy of the Lord. We have to beg for the mercy of Nam Prabhu. Shri Nam Prabhu. Nam is a person. He is Shri Nam. And where is Abhishek Prabhu? He's not here. Okay. Yeah. So there is what is called as the Nam Ashtaka, written by Srila Rupa Goswami. So there are the prayers to the holy name. So Prabhupada in the commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5, 25 to 20, 23 to 25, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu verse. So in the Kirtanam, he mentions this point. And you'd like to know what Prabhupada says? Let us go because it's very important. This is Sri Harinam. This is another seminar on the holy name, but how to avoid the 10 offenses so that we can chant Shuddhanam. So it's again by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So kindly hear this very carefully. This is from the Padma Puran quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita 3.360. Namekam yasya vachi smarnapatagatam stotram moolam gatam va shuddham varnam vyavahita rahitam taryate eva satyam tachet dravin deha dravin janata lobapashand madhe nishipitam swang na palajanakam shigram evatra vipra. If a devotee once utters the holy name of the Lord, how many times? Once. Only you have to utter how many times the holy name? Once. Nam ekam yasya vachi. Or if it penetrates his mind or enters his ears, which is a channel of oral reception, smarana pata gatam stotra moolam gatam va. That holy name will certainly deliver him from material bondage. Taryat eva satyam. How many times we have all chanted the holy name? Are we delivered? We have to chant how many times? This verse is saying once. Whether vibrated properly or improperly, with correct or incorrect grammar. Shuddham va shuddham varnam. Or properly joined or vibrated in separate parts. Vyavahita rahitam. So, in what is that word? What is that Vyavahita rahitam to explain? Okay, let us go to that verse 3.360. So, because you have to understand what is Vyavahita rahitam. Two examples Prabhupada gives. 3.360. 3.300, right? Which was that verse? 3.360 it was. Okay. Yes. So Prabhupada gives, halam riktam. These are two words. So the first is her, second is re. So one gets the benefit of chanting Hari. So if somebody says halam riktam, he once, he also gets liberated. Or another example Prabhupada gives is Raja Mahishi. So Ra and Ma becomes Ram. So that is the potency of the holy name. O Vipra, O Brahmana, the potency of the holy name is therefore certainly great. This is the potency of the holy name. However, if one uses the vibration of the holy name, Tachet, for the benefit of material body, for material wealth and followers, Deha Dravina Janata, or under the influence of greed or atheism, Lobha Pashanda Madhe. In other words, Prabhupada is explaining in his translation only, if one utters the name with offenses, such chanting will not produce the desired result very soon. So only you have to chant how many times? Once. And you have to chant what? Nam. Nam means Shuddha Nam. Therefore, one should diligently avoid offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Prabhupada is in the translation only giving his commentary and explanation and the conclusion. So this is the verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma also quotes this. And this is a conversation between Raghunath Das Babaji. He is not Raghunath Das Goswami. This is Raghunath Das. Chanting without a trace of Namaprad is Shuddha Nam. What is Shuddha Nam? Without a trace of Aprad. Perfect or imperfect pronunciation of the Harinam is not the criteria for chanting purely. For your kind information, you're all unfortunate because you're born in India. The Chinese cannot pronounce Re. Hale Krishna, Hale Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hale Hale, Hale. They say Hale. They cannot say Hare. So even if they are pronouncing like that, still they will get the benefit of chanting Hare and they will be delivered. But for us, Indians, we have to pronounce Hare. So Prabhupada said the Chinese are the last to take up Krishna consciousness and they'll be the first to go back to Godhead. Study this injunction from Padma Puran, Swarag Khand, and the same verse is quoted. And there in the translation, it is more clear. If a devotee just utters Harinam purely, or if just one Shuddha Nam. So Nam means Shuddha Nam. Then, after quoting this, Raghunath Das Babaji says, the chanting of Harinam may be spoilt in two ways. Samanya, exigiously, or Brahat, enormously. Now think for a moment. Take your time. What is this Samanya and Brahat? Think about it and raise your hands. Who would like to answer? What is this Samanya and Brahat? Exigiously or enormously? Everyone is taking Nam from so many years here, and what happened? Chanting with ordinary exiguous fault is called Namabhas, and the results of chanting are delayed. Impure chanting with enormous fault is Namaprad. In this condition, only constant and intensive chanting for a protracted period can remove the enormous fault. Please mark the statements here. Namabhas results are what? Delayed. And Namaprad? For Namaprad, what is the solution? Intensive chanting for protracted period and constant chanting. Only can remove this fault. There is no other way. Jaiva Dharma Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying this. Protracted means long time, for long periods, prolonged periods. The duty of the sadhaka is clear to me now. Vijay is a student. He is hearing from Raghunatha. But a deep understanding of the principles of Namaprad is needed. Kindly detail the Namapras. Because Namaprad is like this, give me now. Then he speaks about the 10 offenses. The 10 Namaprads are lucidly enumerated in the Padma Puran. So the 10 offenses he speaks. Okay. Some more Prabhupada's quotation is also there, and I don't know how it is missing. It's not there. Okay, so let us see now what Prabhupada has to say exactly about what Jiva Goswami has, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said in the Jaiva Dharma. So this is that verse, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, famous. So in the Kirtanam, this is one of the longest purports of Prabhupada in his entire Bhaktivedanta purports on the Bhagavatam. This is one of the longest purports. So Kirtanam, he starts describing so Prabhupada in the Kirtanam paragraph, he says, while chanting the holy name of the Lord, one should be careful to avoid the 10 offenses. From Sanat Kumar, it is understood that even if a person is a severe offender in many ways, he is freed from offensive life if he takes shelter of the Lord's holy name. Indeed, even if a human being is no better than a two-legged animal, he will be liberated if he takes shelter of the holy name of the Lord. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. Then he describes the 10 offenses. Now, Prabhupada says something interesting. There is no way to atone for any of these offenses. It is therefore recommended that the offender at the feet of the holy name continue to chant the holy name 24 hours. So if somebody commits namaprad, how to come out of it? Constant chanting for protracted period, and that to intensive chanting. So Prabhupada is also saying the same thing. Constant chanting of the holy name will make one free of offenses. He'll become free from namaprad. And then he will gradually be elevated to the transcendental platform. So this exactly matches what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also saying here. He's saying that, the results of the chanting are delayed. And for impure chanting, constant, protracted period is saying. Same thing Prabhupada is saying. On which he can chant the pure holy name and thus become a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So after you come to that transcendental platform, that is Namabhas, then you can chant Shuddha name. And then he, mentions about how Daksha had committed offense to Shiva. And that's why he says that one should offer prayers to the holy name. which is, he quotes Namashtaka 1. So offering prayers to Nama Prabhu helps us to become free from aparats. So the point is that one should, strive with attention to become free from aparat. Okay, so let's do a japa exercise now. We discussed yesterday about body, posture. So now we will take up pronunciation. And the last is a prayerful mood, chanting from the heart. We will do that as the last part of our discussion today. Srila Prabhupada's instruction on pronouncing the mantra clearly and distinctly. Where is the mic here? Okay. Give the mic to Prashant Prabhuji. Prashant Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. You're not tense, no? No, no? Okay. So let us hear Prashant Prabhu's chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. You can chant. One mantra. One mantra is 16 words and 32 syllables. Okay. Don't look at him. Just hear. Okay. Okay. Give the mic to Vijay Prabhu. Okay. Again, don't look back. Just hear one mantra chanted by Vijay Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay. You have heard both the chantings? Now carefully we'll go through Prabhupada's purport. And you will have to tell me the answer. Okay? Let us go carefully and study this purport. Okay? So at least in Europe and America, they will never be able to take all these things. So this is excluded for all others. But for Indians, you will have to pronounce clearly and distinctly. That's why we are unfortunate, I said. The things should be made shortcut. At the same time, they should be successful. So that is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, depending on as soon as we have got some time, chant Hare Krishna. Either loudly or silent, as far as possible, loudly. If not possible, silently. But the tongue must go on. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The tongue must work, but as far as possible, should be heard. And officially, Krishna Krishna, Rama Ram, Hare Hare Ram, chants very fast with words running into each other indistinctly. Not like that. Chants again like that. Prabhupada again repeats that. Not like that. That will not. Every word should be distinctly chanted and heard, not official. So stress on this point. As far as possible, people should be encouraged to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and try to bring the ecstasy and dance. Because if you're chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra clearly and distinctly, and you're hearing the mantra, what you experience is ecstasy. If you're not experiencing the ecstasy, then you're not hearing because of inattention, or you're not pronouncing the mantra clearly and distinctly. Then Prabhupada, in order to encourage, he says, even if you don't get ecstasy while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, you dance in the kirtan, you'll get ecstasy. Okay. This is a room conversation. Okay. Now, let us go into Chaitanya Charitamrita purports. Kali Kale Name Rupe Krishna Avatar. नाम है ते होय सर्व जगत निस्तार. In this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with the Lord directly, and you will not know that you are associating with the Lord. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. Jagat Nistar. धार्द्या लागे हरे नाम उक्ति 3 बार जड़ लोक बुझाते पुनः एककार. The verse repeats the word eva certainly 3 times for emphasis, and it also 3 times repeats Harer Nama, the holy name, just to make common people understand that Harer Nama shloka. Purport. To emphasize something to an ordinary person, one may repeat it 3 times, just as one might say, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. Thus, in the Brahad Naradi Puran, repeatedly emphasizes the chanting of the holy name so that people may take it seriously and thus free themselves from the clutches of Maya. It is our practical experience in the Krishna conscious movement all over the world that many millions of people are factually coming to the spiritual stage of life simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly according to prescribed principles. Therefore, our request to all our students is that they daily chant at least 16 rounds. Prabhupada is again saying how much? At least 16. Of this Hare Nama Mahamantra. How one should chant? So 16 rounds means what now? Attentive rounds. So it's not that Bhaktivinoda Thakur or I am saying. Prabhupada is also saying 16 rounds means 16 rounds without any offenses, following the regulative principles. Thus, their success will be assured without a doubt. So if throughout your life you're chanting Namaprad, then you're not going to make any progress. We have to work on chanting the mantra attentively. Kevala Shabda Punarapi Nishchay Karena Jnana Yoga Tapa Karma Adi Nivarana. The use of the word Keval, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nasti, Kalo Nasti, Kalo Nasti, Eva Gatir Anyata. So that Kevala is mentioned to mention that only this process, not karma, not jnana, not ashtanga. The use of the word Keval only prohibits all other processes such as cultivation of knowledge, practice of mystic yoga, or performance of austerities and fruitive activities. Prabhupada. Our Krishna conscious movement stresses the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra only. Whereas those who do not know the secret of success for this age of Kali unnecessarily indulge in the cultivation of knowledge, the practice of mystic or the performance of fruitive activities or useless austerities. They are simply wasting their time and misleading their followers. When we point this out very plainly to an audience, members of the opposing groups become angry at us. But according to the injunction Shastras, we cannot make compromises with these so-called Gyanis, Yogis, Karmis and Tapasvis. Once Prabhupada was, I think in Kurukshetra or in Haridwar or Rishikesh. And there was a sadhu sambalan and Prabhupada was also scheduled to speak. Now Prabhupada was the first to speak, but somehow because the organization put him as a last speaker. And then there was one after the another, these sadhus coming, and speaking Mayavad Darshan. And Prabhupada was inside his room walking back and forth. And Prabhupada's anger was increasing. His disciples were getting very tensed. What is Prabhupada going to do? And Prabhupada was the last to speak, and Prabhupada came and straight hammering at the sadhus. He started attacking the sadhus, and all the audience got agitated there. And they were hurling words on Prabhupada, but Prabhupada did not care for anything. He just smashed them like anything and finished his talk and walked off. So Prabhupada did not have this too, because he was following the injunction of Shastra. When they say they are as good as we are, we must say that only we are good and they are not good. This is not our obstinacy. It is the injunction of the Shastras. And only Prabhupada can dare to do that. No, we cannot go and do that. We don't have that purity to do that. We must not deviate from the injunctions of Shastras. This is confirmed in the next verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyata emane tara nahi ke nistara nahi 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 etina ekavara. This verse clearly states that anyone who accepts any other path cannot be delivered. This is the reason of the triple repetition, nothing else, nothing else, nothing else, which emphasizes the real process of self-realization. Now, Trina haite niche hon sada nam labe nam apani nirabhimani anya dibeman. To chant the holy name always, one should be humbler than the grass in the street and devoid of all desire for personal honor, but one should offer others all respectful obeisances. So, how one should take Nam is being mentioned here. Taru sama sahishnata Vaishnava karibe Bharsana tadana kake kichuna bolibe. A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance like that of a tree. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others to retaliate. Katile hataru ena kichuna bolia shukaya mare tabu jalna magya. For even if one cuts a tree, it never protests, and even if it is drying up and dying, it does not ask anyone for water. Prabhupada. The practice of forbearance, tarorapi seshnata, is very difficult. But when one actually engages in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the quality of forbearance automatically develops. So why the quality of forbearance has not developed? What is the reason? We are not doing actual chanting. Actual chanting means Shuddhanam. A person advanced in spiritual consciousness through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra need not practice to develop it separately. For a devotee develops all good qualities simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly. Aimata Vaishnav kare kichu na magiya ayachita vritti kimva shakafala khaiva. Thus, a Vaishnava should not ask anything from anyone else. If someone gives him something without being asked, he should accept it. But if nothing comes, a Vaishnava should be satisfied to eat whatever vegetables and fruits are easily available. Sada naam loy yata labite santosh ete achara kari bhakti dharma posh. One should strictly follow the principles of always chanting the holy name, and one should be satisfied with whatever he gets easily. Such devotional behavior solidly maintains one's devotional service. Bhakti dharma posh. Now Prabhupada quotes this. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amani namanadena kirtaniya sadahari. Prabhupada. The grass is specifically mentioned in this verse because everyone tramples upon it and the grass never protests. This example indicates that a spiritual master or leader should not be proud of his position, being always humbler than an ordinary common man. He should go on preaching the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, Urdabahu kare kahon suno sarvalok nama sutre granthi para kante ishlok. Raising my hands, I declare, everyone please hear me. String this verse on the thread of the holy name and wear it on your neck for continuous remembrance. Now is the actual purport we are coming to. But the whole flow is very important. Prashant Prabhuji, you are ready? You are ready, na? Ready to discuss now then. Vijay Prabhu, you are ready, na? Yes. When chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in the beginning, one may commit many offenses, which are called Namabhas and Mahaparad. Namaparad is also offense. Namabhas is also offense. But there is lessening of offense. That is why it is called as, the offensive stage and the lessening of offenses and the offenseless stage. Namaprad, Namabhas, Shuddhana. Got it? There is the lessening of offenses. It is almost Nam. That is why it is called as Nama Bhas. Okay? So far, good? In this stage, there is what? No possibility of achieving perfect love of Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada is not leaving any room here. He is saying no possibility. Therefore, one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to the principles of the above verse. Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi saishna. So one has to, that's why the previous verse was quoted, Trunadapi. Now, very interesting. What is this Trunadapi sunichena chanting? Prabhupada is going to reveal. One should note in this connection that the chanting involves the activities of the upper and the lower lips as well as the tongue. In the chanting, you have to use the upper lip, the lower lip, and the tongue. All three must be engaged in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The words Hare Krishna should be very distinctly pronounced and heard. It should be distinctly pronounced and it should be heard. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation with the help of the lips and the tongue. Now give the mic to Prashant Prabhuji. Where is the mic? This is just an experiment so that we can all learn. Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No, mic is not on. Mic is not on? Chant.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Give the mic to Vijay Prabhu. Please chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare. So what is Prabhupada saying here? One should not produce a... You are able to hear the hissing sound or no? Were you able to hear the hissing sound or no? Yes, Prabhuji, tell me. Yes. You are able to hear the hissing sound. So what is that hissing sound? Tell me. Give the mic to him. When you're uttering the syllables Krishna, you're saying Krishna. There is a sound coming because you're holding the tongue. Like, I don't know how to, do whisper. When you want to whisper, you have to hold the tongue and the air flows and then only that sound comes. So if you hold the tongue, then that krish, krish, krish comes, that is the hissing sound. Got it? So one should not produce a hissing sound. Now to rectify this, it will take a lot of efforts. It is not that today you practice and tomorrow it will go away, because this is very subtle. It is very subtle. That's why I put it in the mind. Posture, mind, and then soul, right? The mind, pronunciation. So I will now show you the one mantra chanting without hissing and with hissing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You are able to identify the difference between the two? Yes or no? Yes or no? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Identified? So when you hold the tongue, then that hissing sound comes. Now, because you're unfortunate, because you're born in India, you will have to pronounce the mantra clearly and distinctly. Europeans and Americans are exempted, and Chinese are fully exempted. Okay. Chanting is very simple, but one must practice it seriously. Therefore, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, advises everyone to keep this verse always strung about his neck. Now, my question to you all is, Prabhupada is speaking about Trunadapi Sunichena in the previous verse, and here he is speaking about chanting the mantra clearly and distinctly. What that has to do with Trunadapi Sunichena? Think about it and raise your hands. Who would like to answer? One hand has been raised. Okay. Give the mic to him. Give the mic.
Because to make clear communication requires a lot of more openness. The person whose mind is hovering over Ujala Pratishtha, who has respected me, who has not respected me, he will not be able to.
No, here Prabhupada is speaking about chanting the mantra clearly and distinctly. He has spoken about it. But the verse under the discussion is that you have to become Trinadapi. So Prabhupada has to focus on Trinadapi Sunichena, how to become Trinadapi. But Prabhupada is speaking about chanting the mantra clearly and distinctly. What is the connection? Think about it. Yes, Prabhuji, give the mic to him.
It's mentioned here, chanting is very simple.
Mm.
One must practice this seriously.
Mm.
Seriously means like it will come seriousness only when one takes full shelter of Krishna, but that will happen only when this follows this inspiration. Then we can become serious and then we can pronounce properly.
Yes, Saket Prabhuji.
Yogi, in order to follow the Trinity signature words, we need to always be careful how we are doing. Acting in the day-to-day life. And similarly, even when we have to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we have to be very careful that we are pronouncing. So we have to practice this kind of Prabhupada with very carefulness and be cautious.
Okay, very little close. Okay, we'll take the last answer.
You said like to get rid of this stigma, we are getting to practice it more. We need a more practice. In other words, make a like one need to chant constantly. So if you do more, then it would be this.
If you chant the Hare Krishna mantra clearly and distinctly and hear the mantra, automatically you will become Trinadapi Sunichena. So this is the connection. Got the point? If you pronounce the mantra clearly and distinctly and hear the mantra, there will be transformation in the heart and you'll become Trinadapi. This is the connection. Okay. Now, huh? You need not become Trinadapi. You chant clearly and distinctly, you will automatically become Trinadapi. So, in the Varnamala in Sanskrit, there is the Swara and the Vyanjan. A, I, U, R, E, I, O, Re. This is difficult. And there is the Vyanjana. K, K, G, G, Ch, Ch, J, J, Nya. T, Th, D, D, N. So this N, this K Vargana is Kanta. It comes from the Kanta. But the Ch Varga is palatal, Talu. So this is the Talu here. But the T Varga is coming from the mouth. It is called as Murdha. It is called as Murdha. That's why I told this is not so easy. Until you start practicing this and consciously observe where is the sound coming from. K, K, G, G, Nya, Ch, Ch, J, J, Nya, T, Th, D, D, N, Murdha. It touches here. So while the movement of the lip is happening, the lip, when you say Krishna, you should touch the Murdha. But when you hold the tongue, then there is a hissing sound. Got the point now, Prabhuji? No. Murda is this place. Kanta, you understand? Okay, Kanta, you understand, no? Ta, tha, da, dha, na is dental, danta. Pa, pa is coming from where? Lips, oshta. So you will have to practice this art. You have to every day just see this table and practice it. Or you can see some videos and start pronouncing Krishna, not Krishna, Krishna. No hissing sound should come. Okay? So I have not seen many devotees who can distinctly pronounce. That's why, I'm not conscious of observing these things, but it happened that, one devotee was sitting and chanting, and one is he was skipping some of the words, and the Krishna was what? Krishna, 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 coming out. So this you'll have to work on it. It takes time. It takes practice. Okay. Any questions up till now, what we discussed? First is, we discussed about agraha, eagerness, how sankhya adik spurha, one should carefully chant and not try to increase. And regarding Srila Prabhupada's instruction on pronouncing the mantra clearly and distinctly. Any questions? One, two. Okay, two questions. Yes, Prabhuji, the mic is with you.
We have statements also in scriptures where there is more in which we do.
Bhavagrahi Janardhan. You cannot apply that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Prabhupada here is saying then you, what about this statement of Prabhupada then?
So how do we come to a conclusion?
Siddhanta is here. You know that Krishna is Bhavagarai Janardhan. Murko vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave. Samam pash ubayo ubayo to samam punyam Bhavagrahi Janardhan. The Lord sees the Bhava. That is for Chinese, especially. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and they get purified. Hmm. Prabhupada also mentions that, pronunciation is important and you have to work on it. Even this book also says the same thing. And this argument is put forward in this book also, and you see the answer, you know. But if one has to, Prabhupada, same question was asked. But if you can pronounce, then Krishna is more pleased. He'll give more bhav then, you know. So, but that you have to work on it. And because of laziness, alas, or jad, you know, you don't want to work out. That also Krishna knows. And this is then not bhavagai janardhan then. Okay? Escape route he wants. Will not work. Yes, Prabhuji.
The Varnamala also there are two types of Sh. And the Sh in Krishna, that is the one that
There is there's the Oshta, sorry, the Sh is there is Sh, 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 Sa. Now one has to practice. The first Sh is coming from, it is coming from the second place, Talu. And Sh is coming from Murdha. And Sa is coming from Danta. But they have a aspiration there, there, all this. So you can practice. And there was a principle told to us, I forgot now. Sh, Sh, Sa. You can clearly find the distinction in the three. Right? Okay. Okay. It's a matter of practice. In all Prabhupada's books, at the backside, there is a Sanskrit pronunciation guide. Please use that guide. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. One question.
It is told that all who has Krishna can give us Krishna. So in context of that, here we heard that if one is only sincere and devotes in the chanting, then gradual progress he will make. So kind of how to live in the context of a spiritual master also, like mercy is important. Here, like glories of name we are hearing. So kind of it is doing that kind of cycle. So you can give up
The mercy is already given by the spiritual master and the parampara. You have to endeavor now. You have to endeavor. Mercy is already given. The Guru gives the Naam, but you have to work on it. Okay? Okay, any other questions? Prashant Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. Now, all these, we are, now we are understanding what are the corrections to be applied now in our chanting. Now, please remember, these are different levels of correction we need to apply, and each one you have to work at a time. It's not that today you sat on posture, tomorrow I'll work on pronunciation, next day I'll work on this, and no. One has to work on each of them over a period of time, master them, then go to the next systematically. And then we will come to that when we discuss the mandala on chanting from the heart. So it's not that, tomorrow I'll start trying to pronounce, because when we presented this, many devotees were trying to practice that clear and distinct pronunciation. It was not happening. And they were telling, I'm trying my best. It's not, it's not in a one day effort. And it's very subtle. First the gross purification has to happen. Then the subtle purification can happen, right? So it takes time. And that's why, because we are presenting this whole thing in one seminar, so one has to work on each of the levels systematically. Okay, yes, Prashant Prabhuji. Your question is answered, or you still have a question? Okay.
So, said that not increase one's, it should not be that increase one's wrong before me. So now, very fact, we not discussing person which is still
Yes, correct. And that verse is, even if one is chanting with full concentration, that verse is saying full concentration, then you have to understand there are aparats in the form of, not nam aparats there, about Vaishnava aparats. That's fine. Yeah.
the Prabhupada and so he says there is no other way to nullify
Essentially. Yes.
so to reconcile this
Mm.
increase of the ground,
Mm.
the very fact we are not getting is that big up.
Mm.
The ways to take the consistent and
Mm.
reconcile this all about doctors.
The way to reconcile is that we start chanting attentive rounds and then keep on gradually increasing. And the more we start, when we increase also, no, we have to stay at that level and look back and see whether there is inattention falling. And over a period of time, we see that we are studying it, then you go up. And like that, it's not only chanting when we speak. Prabhupada, because in the purports, if you see, one chants 16 rounds and is engaged in all service. And while serving also, one can be chanting in the mind, or one can be chanting the kirtan while driving the car, you know. So there are offenses will not be counted also, right? So like that, kirtaniya sadahari we should be, you know. So it includes all aspects, you know. While we are doing the deity worship, we are chanting the mantras for the deities. That's also chanting. So it includes, it's a wide perspective given there. But when we are actually doing our japa, we should be careful to be attentive in our chanting. Okay. Okay. Now the last part of today's discussion, the way. Last two sections are there, and we will take one very important concept, chanting from the heart, and it is the concept of the mandala. एकाग्र मनसे निर्जनेते स्वल्प क्षण नाम स्मृति अभ्यास करिबे भक्तजन. The devotee should make it a regular practice to spend a little time alone in a quiet place and concentrate deeply on the holy. So sometimes, we can go to some place where we can just sit under a tree and just, do Nam Smaran there. It is recommended. अतएव स्पष्ट नाम भाव लग्न मने सदा होए ए प्रार्थना तुम्हारा चरणे. One should utter and hear the name. Vijay Prabhuji. One should utter and hear the name distinctly. Soon his heart becomes attached to the holy name. O Lord, at your feet, I pray that I may become attached in that way. You should pray like this. Oh Lord, your Bhagra and Janardhan, whatever I'm giving, accept. No, not like that. Okay. When I can afford to make a nice Rajbhog for the Lord, don't offer the Lord khichdi. And tell your Bhavgaya Nandana, please accept. We are not Sanatan Goswami. That we have the relationship with the Lord, that the Lord will speak and tell, please give me salt. And Sanatan Goswami will scold back. Now you're asking salt, tomorrow you'll ask sweets. Where I should get? Okay. आपन यतने कहे नाही पारे तुम्हारा प्रसाद विना यही भव samsare. Even with the greatest struggle, no one can escape this world of birth and death without your mercy, oh Lord. Ultimately, we should put our efforts in chanting. At the same time, we should beg for the mercy of the Lord. Oh. Even if he is completely free from inattention, is chanting of the holy name, the individual soul cannot attain anything merely by his own endeavor. O Lord, your mercy makes everything easy. Therefore, I approach you and with heartfelt words, I beg for your mercy. In this way, one must pray. Now, this is the last exercise for today. And I am asking you all, should we do it? Yes or no? Because we have crossed the time now limit. So I just wanted to know. Now, this is a very difficult concept. And it's auspicious that the conch shell is blowing, so hopefully we'll understand this. Japa Sutra 4. Chanting is heart deep, not lip deep. The essence of prayer is feeling. What is not expressed by the heart does not communicate. You speak something from your lips, you don't mean it from your heart. Actually, it doesn't touch the heart of the other person. Yes or no? But those words which are spoken from the heart actually touch the heart. So, what is not expressed by the heart does not communicate. This is a very important principle you have to know. Some might glorify you because you're doing night service. But even if somebody glorifies you also like that, but if it is not spoken from the heart, no, you'll not feel it. Genuine glorification or appreciation, it doesn't touch. The Maha Mantra is a prayer and thus is expressed from the heart. Feeling is the antidote to mechanical chanting. Chanting with feeling. Now I'm going to give a reference for what this sutra is saying from the Bhagavatam. It is said in the Shastra that once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of the quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. That is the potency of the holy name. And this once uttering is at the stage of which stage? Namabha, specifically at which stage? Asakti. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. One has to feelingly address the Lord. This is chanting from the heart. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the four principles of material advancement, high parentage, good wealth, high education, attractivity are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. Prabhupada is speaking this in the purport of Janmaishwarya Shrutashribir. So the uttering should come from the heart. So what is lip deep and heart deep? I hope it's clear. You can visualize sometimes, if suppose two friends are on the cliff and one of them slips and falls from the cliff, somewhere there is a tree and he holds on to it. And down you can see, it's steep. And then he's calling from his friend for help. Where will the call come from? From the heart. So you have to call the name from the heart. So chanting is not lip deep, it is heart deep. Japa Sutra 5. When your heart is open, the mind is closed. And when your mind is open, heart is closed. So yesterday we discussed this principle, if you remember. So here, a very important principle is, when we speak of heart, we speak of the spiritual heart, that is the soul, which is the seat of consciousness. And everyone has experienced Right when we take up to Krishna consciousness, we are having certain attraction, say to the deities or to the sadhus or some anga of bhakti, the kirtan. We might have found it attractive, the first kirtan which we attended, you know. Some aspect of, the tadi of the Lord or the Lord Himself, hmm, is where our heart is attracted. Now, when I mean the heart, I mean the soul or the deities, be it Radha Madhav, Radha Sham Sundar, or Radha Ras Bihari, whichever deities where our heart is attracted, we should, try to keep those pictures in front and chant for their pleasure so that the heart is open and the mind is closed while chanting. So, this principle is very, very important. Mechanical chanting means we are in our mind, not in our heart. When we go to our heart, we get out of our mind. When we dwell in our mind, our thoughts of ourselves and our lives, the heart loses. Prabhupada didn't advise that we battle with our minds when we chant. Rather, he said, chant and hear. You chant with your tongue and hear with your ears. There is no question of the mind. This was the answer Prabhupada had given, and he was bewildered. What is this? So Prabhupada meant chanting from the heart. Now, there are again some exercises which we could do, but again, they are very difficult to implement. So, we should hear from the ear's heart. Understood this statement? How many of you understood? Raise your hands. We should hear from the ear's heart. How many of you did not understand the statement? Raise your hands. All of you. Okay, let me give you an example. Now, suppose you're walking by and two of your friends inside the room are talking about you, right? They are talking some good things about you or bad things about criticizing you. Then what you'll do? You'll put your ear, you'll put your attention there. That means you put your heart there. So you should hear from the ear's heart. There is the internal ear in the antakaran, right? This is what? Gross. This is the internal ear. This is called as what? Karana. And this is called? Okay, what is this? Hmm? Akshi. This is Chakshu. The Antakaran eye is called as Chakshu. And this is called Karan. This is called Stotram Chakshu Rasanam Cha. 15.9 in the Bhagavad Gita. The Antakaran is being mentioned there. Stotra. This is called as a Stotra. That is why in that Padma Puran verse it is mentioned Sotra Gata. The internal ear should hear. Sometimes, people have ears, but they can't hear. The organ is there, but internal circuit connection is gone. The mic is here, but if it's not connected to the power source, the internal connection is not there, then this doesn't work. Some people have eyes to see, but still they cannot see because the antakaran, because of karma, the antakaran circuit is not proper. So we have to hear from the ear's heart. And you would like to practice that chanting? So for that, your consciousness, you have to, focus and bring it in the front where you're sitting. And, while vibrating the mantra, when you bring the consciousness at one point, the sound which is moving in that direction, you focus there and try to hear that. So that the gap between the, shabda and the karna, the shabda is coming from the mouth, and the ear is here. This gap is big, long gap. You reduce that gap by internally, focusing like that. It's a methodology which, it requires some practice, and time and space doesn't allow us now to discuss that. Of course, it is, it has to be understood quite deeply. But just the point that, you can internalize your chanting by, just producing the sound vibration and fixing your heart, the ear's heart, in the sound, so that both are tuned, and there is that time no question of the mind. Prabhupada, when first time he went to the studio for recording the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Prabhupada was sitting in the studio and the devotees were there and setting up everything, and they were seeing there was some disturbance, and they thought some mic wire, some sound is coming. They could not figure out where the disturbance was coming. But then they found out it was Prabhupada's chanting. Prabhupada was chanting that, and they just could not, they thought there's some wire disturbance sound coming and they were trying to figure it out. So you can internalize your chanting like that. It is not so easy to do, but this is what is recommended. As we advance in our chanting, Krishna's forms, qualities, and pastimes come to our mind and vision, but not the material mind, the mind which distracts us from proper chanting. Okay, based on this background, we will now give you a methodology on how to chant from the heart. Okay, let us recite this verse. Sarvadvarani Sanyamya Manoridhi Nirudhya Cha Urdanyadhyayatmanah Pranamastito Yoga Dharanam Om Kaksharam Brahma Veharan Mam Anusmaran Yah Prayati Tajandeham Sayati Paramam Gatim. Now, I quoted these three verses, but the first verse, 8.12, is where we are focusing. He who leaves his body, yaha prayati tajandeham. Now, sarva dwarani. Dwar means what? Doors. Now, first time we are now going to understand the concept of doors. Now, let me ask you a question. How many doors do we have? All are wrong. Again, I'm going to put the question. How many doors do we have? Three. Who has answered that three? Raise your hand. What are the three doors? Please tell us, Prabhuji. Give the mic.
Body, mind, and heart.
Body, mind, and heart. The three doors. Okay, any other answers? The nine are the nine holes or the nine gates. But here we are speaking about doors. So here, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, this is Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's commentary. While withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. So if you withdraw the senses on the sense objects, then you close the doors. Close the doors. Concentrating the mind in the heart. So there is one more door to the heart. That is the mind. And then there is the senses and sense objects. Okay. Fixing the prana on the Agya Chakra. Murdhanya Adhyatmana Pranam Asipati. This is for the Ashtanga yogis because the 8th chapter speaks about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So we fix, on the chanting of the Mahamantra, completely absorbing his thoughts in me, Yoga Dharan, uttering Om. And Prabhupada in this purport, Prabhupada says Om is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And remembering me constantly, Mahamanusman attains my planet, Sayati Paramam Gatim. So here is the mandala, the opening and closing of the doors. Now, you can see these are the doors. Here, 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 and here. And this is door which is inside. It is not from outside. It opens from inside. The pujari opens the altar door from inside, not from outside. So Krishna's mercy, that door is ultimately inside. So now this is the mandala, and you can see this first door. Now I'll explain what this mandala is, how to implement it. Now, when you're chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, our consciousness, chitta is pure consciousness, which comes from the soul, which is the root, R-O-O-T, of consciousness, flows from the subtle body to the gross body and those towards the outside world, right? Yes. Now, while chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if you are conscious of the environment and what is happening in the environment, that means you are not conscious of the holy name. So you have to withdraw your consciousness from the environment and get it to your body. So then you have closed one door and you continue to chant and you're conscious of the bodily fatigue. I am hungry. I am thirsty. We spoke in the first day. Remember, na? The mind's voice. How many layers are there? 16 layers. Now, how to break these layers is through the mandala, which we are presenting now. So, what? We have to first withdraw our consciousness from the external environment and bring it to the body. The body is the self now. Okay. And then there are the senses and the sense objects. We have to withdraw that. Withdraw from the senses and the sense and close those doors. And then ultimately the mind. And then the mantra, when all these doors are closed, the mantra goes to the heart. And then Chaito Darpan Marjanam happens. That is why even in our 16 rounds, we hardly hear what? Mantra. Because that mantra should pierce these coverings and enter the heart. It has to enter the heart. So one has to work on his chanting. So if while chanting you're conscious of the environment, that means you're not conscious of the holy name. If you're conscious of the bodily fatigue, that means you're not conscious of the holy name. If you're battling with the senses and sense objects, then you'll not be able to hear the mantra. If you're dealing with your mind, then also Prabhupada in his first statements only made this clear. Then it is a offense, he said. If the mind is acting, then it is a offense, he said, right? So the mind also should not act. And then when you close all these doors, ultimately, and with a prayerful heart, you call out the Lord's name, then the Lord opens the door from within, and through the Lord's mercy, the Naam enters, and Chaito Darpan, Marjanam happens. Now, how much time it takes for, to break this mandala and go deeper, deeper, deeper. We have an entire calculation on that. For that, you will have to come for the entire Japa seminar, which is 4 days. Okay. So each of these layers to break, it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. Don't expect that, it'll happen in few days or few years. It takes time. The senses and sense objects interaction, to transcend that, you have to work on it. So that is about the mandala. And just to give you an idea, in the Kali Santarna Upanishad, it is mentioned. Where is it? Okay, 1 second. Yes. यदस्य सोडकैकस्य सार्धं 3 कोटिर्जपते तद ब्रह्महत्यं तारति वीरहत्यं स्वर्ण अस्तेयत् पूतो भवति पितृदेव मनुष्याणां पकरोत् पूत भवति. When one chants this Mahamantra of 16 names, 3.5 crore times. So how much Mahamantra you'll have to chant? 3.5 crores. He absolves himself from killing a Brahman, assassination of a warrior, stealing gold, committing harmful deeds to forefathers and Hammer, and other human beings. So those who chant 16 rounds will reach this number in an average human life of 55.5 years. So 16 rounds, 55.5 years, 3.5 crores. If you increase to 32, then it is only 28 years. Chant 64, then within 14 years. And then iti shodashaka kala vritasya जीवस्य आवरणम विनाशनम तत प्रकाशते परब्रह्मम मेघपाये रवि रश्मि मंडली वेति. In this way, the Mahamantra of 16 names, the 16 names is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, destroys the coverings of the Jivatma. And what are the coverings I mentioned? The 16 layers, which is composed of 16 constituents. So you got a connection now? It is only then that Lord Krishna shines before the Jiva like the suns of they're like the rays of the sun when a cloud is removed. So you have to have a clear understanding that what is the time span required for breaking these layers. So in the mandala, what I was speaking, in the mandala, to pass through each of the layers and go deep into a chanting, you'll have to work on each of the doors, especially the body and the senses and sense objects. You'll have to spend many years and then slowly, slowly go deeper and inside. And then the chanting, what you chant is coming from the heart. Some devotee came and told, that I am taking the Lord's name from the heart. I could understand what it means to take the name from the heart. Now. So we have to have a entire preparation, a lifetime preparation. And Prabhupada in one of the lectures speaks also about this. So you're all young now in your 20s. So chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for at least 50 years and then you'll attain perfection. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Last part. It is necessary to make a great endeavor. One must chant the name sincerely without duplicate pretense. Otherwise, there will be an offense. Yatnagare avashakta nishkapat nam grahanitaha avashya thake nutava aparad. Otherwise, there will be offense. Yatna kari kripa mage vyakula antare tumi kripa mae kripa karo atapare. One must make an effort, and with an earnest heart, one should beg for mercy. O merciful Lord, Kripamai, then you will give your mercy. Tava kripalava yadi na kariyatan tabe ami bhagyahin he Sachinandan. O Lord Chaitanya, if I make no effort to attain your mercy, I will only remain unfortunate. By his own effort and with his own intelligence, one cannot on his own engage in devotional service to the Lord. He has no power in this way to attain the true results bought by devotional service. Lord Krishna's mercy is the root from which all this comes. Therefore, a person who does not strive to attain Lord Krishna's mercy is very unfortunate. The conclusion of this chapter is that one should chant the holy name with single pointed concentration of the mind. Lord Chaitanya taught this in these words. Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya, chapter 23, 75 to 78. Apane sabar Prabhu kare upadesh, Krishna nama mahamantra, Sohana Harishe. The Lord personally instructed everyone, hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and be happy. Prabhupada said, chant and be happy. Sometimes this phrase, also bewilders us devotees. So once a new person entered the temple hall in the morning after the Mangalarti when all the devotees were sitting and chanting, and he told the devotee who was accompanying him, he was a very elevated devotee, and this was a new person. I heard your phrase, chant and be happy, but I'm seeing all are miserable here while chanting. They're all struggling. And you say chant and be happy. So Prabhupada chant and that and is after anartha nivritti. That and refers to anartha nivritti. Chant and be happy. So then it is said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prashant Prabhuji, please chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for us.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare.
Wonderful. So here we wanted to point out that it is Rama, not Ram. If you're chanting Ram, it is half syllable. There are 32 syllables in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Not Ram. Rama. A should Akshar has to be, because the Vyanjanas cannot be pronounced without the Swara. Right? So it is Rama, not Ram. Okay? That is why we did this experiment. Prabhu bole kahilan ei ma mantra iha jape giya sab kariya nirbandha. The Lord continued, this is the Mahamantra. All of you go and chant this mantra according to the prescribed number. Nirbandha. The term has been used what? Nirbandha. Nirbandha means incessantly. Ihayate sarva siddhi hobe sabar sarvashana bolo ithe vidhi nahi ar. By doing so, everyone will attain all perfection. Sarva siddhi. Always chant. There is no other prescription. Now, here is a footnote on Nirbandha. The word Nirbandha in this passage means that on a string of 108 Tulsi beads, one should chant the japa of these 16 holy names that totals 32 syllables. 4 times around this string of beads, 4 rounds is called one granth. One should begin by chanting one granth and gradually increase until one chants 16 granthas, 64 rounds. Gradually, one may increase to chant 3 lakh holy names, 192 rounds. In this way, one will spend all his time chanting. Following the teaching of the past great devotees, one attains all perfection in this way. By chanting the holy name in this way, it is possible to attain all perfection. So, this is the meaning of nirbandha, incessantly. The liberated souls, the souls who earn for liberation, and the materialists are all eligible to chant the holy name. Akama, Sarvakama, Mokshaka. All these 3 kinds of persons who meditate on the holy name. Viraha, separation, and Sambhog, enjoyment, are the 2 states relished while meditating on the holy name. Harinam Chintamani Alankara Yar. Haridas Pada Yuga Bharasatahar. This person who now decorates himself, Alankaryar, himself with the Chintamani jewel of Lord Krishna's holy name, Harinama Chintamani, has great faith in Haridas' feet. Haridas Pada Yuga Bharosa Tahar. He has full faith in Haridas Thakur's lotus feet. Thus ends the 12th chapter of Sri Harinam Chintamani, entitled A Deliberation on the Namaprad of Pramad. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. श्री नाम प्रभु की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, शील भक्तिनाथ ठाकुर की जय. Any questions on the mandala? Chanting from the heart. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 questions.
Rich. Ruji, this session like mainly like what I do is just like inattentive chanting. So if you try to improve, it will take a lot of time. But if you have to see why there are other sevas, fleeting sevas, internal sevas are there. So now it's in a confusion state like what we should be doing. Should we, should we like focus on more chanting or you like the sevas? Because this really requires like consciousness to be absorbed in chanting. And like all the day, if you think about like I need to improve all this aspect, then only like in the morning I can see 2 hours, 3 hours, attentively and focus on it. But if services are there, other preaching sevas and other, then mind will be obviously roaming about and thinking about that. So maybe you can help.
You have to understand that the topmost seva is Nama Seva. And whatever time in your schedule, in your services is given, you have to do that Nam Seva nicely. And if you do Nam Seva, then all your services also we can do nicely. If you're doing all other services nicely, but not doing Nam Seva nicely, then all your other services will also get what? You'll not be able to do them nicely. You'll commit offenses there also. And you'll not be able to do it properly. Of course, this Nam Seva, because it is, you have to give your consciousness there. Yagyanam Japa Yogyasmi. In the Japa Yagya, what is offered is not the ingredients. You have to offer your heart, consciousness. And that's very difficult because you're holding it. You're giving it to Maya. You want to be in material consciousness as an enjoyer in this world. So for the false ego, it is very difficult. That's why it is very difficult. So in the given schedule as a student, as whatever sthane sthiti, you're situated, you have to know that the priority is what? Doing Nam Seva properly. If you do your Nam Seva, whatever it is, 4 rounds or 8 rounds properly, then all other services throughout the day, you can see that you're able to do nicely. And then you're able to maintain your consciousness also nicely. Right? So there is that experiment they do, no? There's a huge jar, and there are big rocks, there are small rocks. And then, what you should do? First put the big ones, and then the small ones will fit in here and there. So first do the main thing. 99% of our advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on chanting the holy names. So Nam is also a seva. Understand that. Okay? Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Guruji, you were telling about the pronunciation of word Ram. So it is not Ram, it is Rama. In Kannada we tell Rama, but in Hindi or Devanagari we tell Jai Shri Ram. So even Prabhupada is chanting here, he chants Hari Ram, Ram Ram. So you were telling is Rama. So
Rama. Ra and Ma. Ma, in Ma there is A.
Hari Ram, Hari Ram.
Yes.
So
Not Ram. Not Ram.
if you chant Hari Ram, then it is. And also Ram, like how can you understand?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
It seems like he's chanting Ram Ram in Prabhupada.
No. I've been hearing Prabhupada audio for so many years. I have never come across what you're saying.
One more topic regarding yesterday, someone asked how to chant gigs. Like usually when we tell people pulling the weights with the thumb, that is one way. But from the initial stage, before I was accustomed to pull with middle finger. So I continued like that now. So how does it matter, like pulling with thumb or I just wanted to ask what is it?
I'm not able to understand.
Like when we pull the paper,
Not like this, but like this.
so I hold usually like from start beginning of I was till now I'm holding like this. Holding with thumb and ring finger and pulling with middle finger. So does it matter like the way how yesterday
Like this.
But then you're using the fourth finger. You're not supposed to use the fourth finger. You have to only use the first and the middle finger. Then you.
They are resting on the ring finger and middle.
You're resting on the thumb or.
Ring finger and
No. No, you should not rest it on the fourth finger, ring finger. If you can rest it on the thumb and move, I feel still it is okay. But it is difficult to do that. Right? It's difficult to do that.
What is asking about it? How does it?
So like even I was taught like that only at home.
Yeah, it has all connections. Like yesterday, I was explaining to someone that the finger ends, they are connected to the heart. All the nerve systems are connected to the whole. So when you're chanting, the nadis. There are, I don't know how many nadis are there. Do you know? Some 72,000 nadis in the body. So nadis get opened up also. So there are all connections are there. It's a subtle science. The pranic science is there. So that's why it's recommended. That's why Shastras have recommended that it is the first and the third finger. Okay. Last one question.
So yesterday we were discussing about push and very much playful mood. Should we focus more on like push now, or like can we have like as you told we should have picture of TVs and prayers.
Yeah, you have to see what is, practical at a given situation. Sometimes, these are like cards. You have to play your cards. What is, what will work for you to hear attentively. Do that. That's it. But at the same time, there is levels you will have to go through. Master over the postures, then slow go up higher, higher. No? But sometimes you can be in a situation where you call out the Lord in the heart because you're in distress, and you can do heartfelt chanting, or you're in a fearful situation, you know, so like that, calling from the heart helps, and then you chant those rounds really from the heart, and you can experience, right? So whatever works in the given situation, you have to play those cards. But there is also a systematic development which we briefly explained, that you cannot break the mandala by going to the next door before previous door. The previous door has to be taken care. You cannot deal with the mind because first you have to deal with the senses, right? The senses and sense objects. The mind is subtle. The senses are gross. So work first on the gross, then move to the subtle. So like that it is. Okay.
Like, but also we hear like if we develop discipline, like associating with advanced or reading subjects, automatically your mind also comes in control. Just like
Yes.
like, there is a need of mind.
Yes. But now you are chanting. You're dealing with the mind, right? Yes or no? Then why is the need for all this discussion for so long? Then it is required. It is required. But are we at that level of sarva dharman parityaja then? Are we at that level? It will all take us to that level ultimately. Yes or no? Okay?
This connection, like as you said in I think Mark section, that when Chaitanya was there, like, it was like immediate person immediately gets
Prema and goes back to world.
yes, like
After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, we have to go through the process of sadhana bhakti to attain sadhu bhakti. That is the little effort we have to put in. Okay?
but like how to
No buts and ifs. That is the process now given for us after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance. You have to accept it. You cannot ask but to Mahaprabhu. He's given a very simple solution.
as you told that we have attraction to the particular details or to the
And chant from the heart. Yeah, because our heart is attracted there. So we chant for their pleasure. Then, dealing with the mind is. So that's why we mentioned the Japa Sutras also for that. You can.
but like how to like,
Why but? Always this but is coming. Huh? Why are blocking yourself with this but?
like how to develop attraction.
How is the attraction for this world? Same way. Rupa Goswami is saying, just like a boy is naturally attracted to a girl and a girl is naturally attracted to a boy, let my attraction to be me towards you, my Lord. Like that. No buts now. Okay? Give the mic.
Suji, we were recommended like very good information and frequent by million names to finally cross the layers. But we also read in many places that chanting on Ekadashi counts 2,000 rounds for one round. And so many details of so many phrases and that gives extra benefit. So does that also reduce the
When I presented this, somebody asked me 3.5 crore Shuddha Naams we should chant, or even Namaprad counting is counted. I said, I don't know. And I asked many senior devotees, they also said they don't know about it. Yes. I don't know whether Ekadasi, if you chant one round, it is equal to 100 rounds, 1,000 rounds. There is no such, I have never heard that system. But
Some confusion for
in the Dham, especially in Vrindavan Dham, whatever you chant, it multiplies 1,000 times. So whether that counts, yes or no, I can't say. Don't keep a count. When you break the layers, you'll understand that your time chanting is attained perfection. If you're keeping a count, means you're keeping calculation on Krishna. Don't do that calculation. Okay? Fine. So thank you very, very, very much. We are very grateful to all the devotees for having us present this summary study of Sri Harinam Chintamani workshop. And I thank the temple authorities here, all the devotees who are organizing this 2 days sessions for Sri Harinam Chintamani. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.